can you introduce about yourself?
Sure. My name is Shruti Wade. I belong to Burhanpur, Madhya Pradesh. I have completed my graduation in BE Computers from North Maharashtra University in year 2018. I have total of 3.10 years of experience in testing, software testing. I started my career with Infosys and worked as manual tester for 1.1 years. Then I joined Accenture and I am successfully working as automation tester for 2.3 years now. In my career so far, I have performed manual testing, functional testing, regression, automation, API, and database testing. For API, I have used Postman tool, and for automation, I'm using Java with Selenium WebDriver and data-driven framework. Yeah, that's all from me.
Okay, good. Next time, whenever you are introducing about yourself, try to talk about your domain as well. Like you're working into banking domain or maybe insurance domain or healthcare domain, no?
Okay.
And one good point is you have mentioned your skills. So it is very important that you should mention your skills, like on which technologies you are currently working. So
Okay.
that is good. Okay. So first we'll start with the manual part. So can you tell me about testing principles?
Yes, there are different testing principles.
Mm-hmm. Like early testing.
Uh, Sorry, sir, I remember testing techniques. I am recalling that.
Okay.
Not
Talk about
I
that.
remember pesticide paradox, in which if you perform one testing again and again, then you will not get the results. So you have to change the way of testing.
Mm-hmm.
Then defect clustering. In defect clustering, you find number of defects in one module only. So that's defect clustering. And error guessing, I guess, or error. Yeah, and one more, I remember that there will never be a software can never be 100% free from defects. There will always be a defect.
Okay. So out of 7, you have mentioned 3, right? There are 2, 3 more like early testing or context-based testing,
Yes, sir.
right? Okay. No issue. Okay. Let's talk about SDLC. Can you explain a little?
Yes. So SDLC is basically software development life cycle, which is a process of developing a software through different stages. So the stages involved in this, first is requirement gathering, in which BA collects the requirements from the client and prepares the BRS document, which has all overall information about the requirement. Then there is analysis. In this, BA analyzes the documents and prepares the SRS document, which is requirement specification.
Hello? Not able to hear you.
Hello?
Yeah. Now it's audible.
Okay. So then third is design. In design, the design architect will read the documents and prepares the high level and low level designs, which will have the modules, high level modules, critical modules, and then detailed specifications. After then coding, once developer gets the documents, he will read it and he will start developing or writing the code. Then testing. In testing, there are 3 types of testing: white box testing, gray box testing, and black box testing. In white box testing, the developer will test his code using only positive testing, which is also known as code level testing. Black box testing is, in this, tester will perform positive as well as negative testing. He will also test all the critical functionalities. are working fine or not, and system and function testing. And then third is gray box testing, in which is a combination of white box and black box. And the gray box tester needs the programming knowledge as well. And the fifth one is maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Once the product is deployed to the production environment, then maintenance will be done using KPO and BPO. BPO is the business process outsourcing team, which handles the non-technical issues, and KPO is the knowledge process outsourcing team, which handles the technical issues.
Okay, good. So, can you talk about the different black box testing techniques?
Yes, there are different black box testing techniques. First is boundary value analysis, in which the initial and final limits of that particular attribute is analyzed. Like in password, the minimum is 8 characters and maximum is 15.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be checked, like if it is accepting 6 characters or not. It shouldn't, like invalid. And then second is equivalent class partition ECP,
Mm-hmm.
in which we check for valid and invalid scenarios. For example, there is a photo we need to put on a form, so the background color should be black.
Mm-hmm.
If it is given then any other color beside black will be invalid, and black will be valid scenario. Then state transitioning testing. In this, we check the behavior of the functionality. So, for example, if ATM pin accepts only 3 attempts, so after 3 attempts, its behavior will change, and it will lock the system and won't accept any other pin.
Mm-hmm.
Then decision table technique. In decision table technique, we look for different ways.
Okay, again lost you. Hello?
Third, there are different ways to achieve the payment, like debit card, credit card. And then fifth is graphic-based technique, in which we will represent the decision table data in a graphical form. Then error guessing technique. In error guessing technique, we will analyze or find the defects, errors on the basis of our previous experiences or guessing.
Okay, so it's like based on your experience, you can guess the different possibility of defects in your software, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me give you a scenario. So let us say there is a table, employee table, and there
Okay.
is one column, employee name.
Okay.
Okay. And the length of this employee name is 100 characters.
Okay.
Okay. Now, which technique you will apply and what will be the scenario?
To test it, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. The length is 100 characters, and I need to check this table, right?
Yeah, this particular column only, not table.
Column.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it SQL question or normal manual?
SQL plus manual you can consider. One of the black box testing technique you'll have to use, right?
Okay. So in this, we will check. First thing is if it is accepting any inputs.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, we will check the boundary using boundary value if it is accepting more than 100 characters.
Mm-hmm. What are the different limits you will check for?
First, we will enter 0 characters, then it should give an error. No, it shouldn't give an error.
Mm-hmm.
Then 50 characters, 99 characters, 100 characters. Till this, it should accept, and then after 100 character, 101 or 102 character, it should start showing error.
Okay. So there will be two validations. One is the DDL validation, another one will be the DML validation, right? In
Yes.
DDL, you will check if the length of that particular column is 100 or not.
Okay.
Okay. And in next, you will actually insert some data which will have length as a 100. Okay.
Okay.
Shruti, what is build?
Build is an incomplete software which is under development,
Mm-hmm.
and it is used by like testers and the whole development team
Mm-hmm.
to perform operations and uh, convert it into a software which can be deployed into production.
Okay. And which testing do we prefer or do we use to verify build?
We perform smoke testing, which has build verification and build stability testing.
Okay.
Builds, yeah.
Who will perform that?
Uh, Usually developers perform it, but testers also somehow perform it, because uh, when we perform sanity, we perform smoke as well.
Okay.
But usually developer will check it, because once the build will be stable, it will be then given to the testers to test.
Correct. So smoke can be tested by both of the people, developer or testers. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, Next is, can you differentiate between agile and waterfall methodology? What are the
Uh,
differences?
okay. So waterfall is a one-directional methodology,
Mhm.
whereas agile is not one-directional. You can um, go forward and also come back to revert back the changes. In this, functional requirements cannot be changed. In agile, functional requirements can be changed at any time or at any stage. In waterfall model, if you find the defect, you correct it in next sprint, whereas in agile methodology, you can directly send it to developer and correct it at that time only. In waterfall, uh, and
Okay. Okay.
yeah, in waterfall model there are only 5 stages,
Mhm.
and in agile, it is an like different architecture is used, because there are user stories and sprints. It works in sprints. So in waterfall it has release of three. It has release time of 3 months, and in agile model there are sprints which are of 15 to 20 days.
Okay. It could be of a week or maybe of 15 days, like 2 weeks or a month.
Okay.
So based on the requirement or how much work we have to complete, the sprints can be designed. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now next, tell me, when will you perform a regression testing and when will you perform retesting?
Okay. So regression testing is performed in various scenarios
Mhm.
when there is a code change, like we gave the defect to the developer and he did some code change, so that time is a regression is performed.
Mhm.
When some new functionality is added to the module, when there is an environment change, like when we are deploying the software from SIT to UAT or UAT to production.
Mhm.
These are the, and retesting is done when there we uh, sent the defect to the developer and he corrected it and sent it back to the tester. So tester will re-perform the testing to test the same functionality
Mhm.
and check if the defect exists or not. So that is retesting.
Okay. Good. Now, which methodology you follow in your company?
We are following agile methodology.
Okay. So, Shruti, in let us say the build is in our production stage and it fails somehow.
Okay.
Then what do we do in Agile?
In Agile, if it fails, then first of all, it will be sent to the developer.
Mm-hmm.
Then developer will test the code, and there will also be a meeting
Okay.
in which it will be checked whether the defect or whatever the issue found is critical or not. If critical, it will be worked as soon as possible and tested again.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will also be discussed that how the defect got into the production, like sent to the production environment
Okay.
without
Have you heard of checkpoints?
check. Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah. Developer will perform the perform the testing through checkpoints. So in checkpoints, there are in the different after 2-3 module there is a checkpoint, and so developer will first check the last checkpoint. If there is a defect there, then he will understand it is before the 2-3 modules.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, then he will check another checkpoint. So he will get to know using testing, checking different checkpoints that where the exactly defect is.
Correct. Based on the checkpoints, he'll be able to see that which model is having the defect, and he can focus on that, right? This is the advantage of Agile over
Yes.
other methodologies.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is sprint ceremony?
Sprint ceremony is a combination of 4 different meetings in Agile methodology. First is a Scrum call, which is also called as daily stand-up call, in which is of 15 minutes, in which what we did yesterday, what we gonna do today, and what are the roadblocks are discussed. Then second is a sprint planning meeting. In sprint planning meeting, it is discussed that how many resources are required, how many testers, developers are required, and what are the user stories we need to work on. Then sprint review meeting. In sprint review meeting, the client is also involved among with testing team, development team, scrum master, and product owner. So it will be discussed. The sprints will be reviewed that how much work is done and how much is remaining. And sprint retrospective meeting is in which we will check what is went wrong and what is gone worked well.
Okay, and where can we improve?
Where
The
can be
scope of
improved.
improvement, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you involved in grooming call or grooming meeting?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
Hello.
Yeah. What is the grooming meeting?
Grooming meeting. In grooming meeting, the product owner explains the user stories and the specific requirements to all the developers and testers.
So he briefs about the user story, right? That
Yes.
what needs to be done and how it can be done. Okay. Last question for manual. What is traceability matrix or requirement traceability matrix?
Requirement traceability. It is a mapping of user stories with the test cases. So for a particular users, to how many test cases we have written.
Mm-hmm.
That is, it is a format. So that is requirement traceability matrix.
And why do we prepare that?
We prepare that to check the efficiency of the testing, how much testing is done.
Yeah, test coverage is the word. So whenever you,
Okay.
most of the time also in interviews, it's asked that how much test coverage you have done. Okay. So
Okay.
to see how much coverage has been achieved, we perform or we prepare traceability matrix.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's have some questions on API.
Yes.
So what are the different validations you do in API testing?
Different validations. Like uh, if the status code is 200 or not,
Mm-hmm.
like the required status code is getting or not, and then if it is fetching the data or not,
Okay, data validation.
and sorry sir, not able to recall others.
So there are like a status codes we validate. It could be of 200 series. If you are performing negative testing, then it should be of 400 series. Then there is a data validation, that whatever data is there in the API response, is it same in your database also? Okay. Third,
Yes.
we also validate headers. So header validation is there where there is the application JSON. Okay, application JSON or not, headers are matching or
Okay.
not. Fourth validation could be your authorization token is correct or not. That validation is also be performed.
Okay. Yes. Huh.
Uh, so let us say we are performing a post request and we have passed some invalid input. Which status code should you get?
If 404 or 405 or maybe 400 bad request,
400 bad request. 404 is
not allowed.
not
Method not found. Sorry.
method not found or not found.
Method not found.
What is
Hello.
what is 405?
Method not allowed.
What is 404?
Not found.
So 400 for bad request. Sometimes we get 404, which is for not found. You will not get 405 because your request is valid. Only the data is invalid.
Okay. Okay.
What is the difference between post, put, and patch?
Post, put, and patch. So in post we create like a we create a method, create the data by giving the payload, and in put we update the code which has been posted by using post method, and in patch we can update only a partial data from the existing data.
Okay. For put, you said we update the code.
Sorry.
What is for put?
Put input we update like the existing data.
We update existing data. Okay. And patch?
Patch we update only partial data from existing.
Okay. So can I use put instead of patch or patch instead of put?
We can use put instead of patch.
Can I use put instead of post?
No.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. What are different types of authorization?
There are 5 different types of authorization. First is basic authentication, which is like username or password, in which you provide username or password. Then second is API key. API key is also like basic authentication, but it can be revoked if compromised. Then third is bearer token. So this is like a in this we send a post request, and using post we get the bearer token, which we can use to access the different request or data. Then authentication, in this the client can access the data from the third party APIs. and then second is authentication 2.0, which has double verification. First you have to enter a token, and then you have to perform the authentication, and then you get the access to the data.
Okay, so basically you have to use your credentials to generate your special token, and that token can be used to perform different requests.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Some questions for database. What are different DML commands?
DML commands. DML commands are delete,
Okay.
update,
Mm-hmm.
and truncate, drop.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
What about select? Truncate is not a DML command, it's a DDL command, right?
Okay.
So for DML, we are having select, insert, update, and delete.
Select.
One more is there, merge.
Okay.
What is subquery?
Subquery is a query inside a query.
Query inside.
Like for example, for something we need to access from the table, so we will have a query, and instead of mention the table, we will use the subquery.
Okay, so for an example, how will you find second highest salary using subquery?
Okay. So for second highest salary, I will second highest. Okay. Select minimum employee salary from, then in brackets another query, subquery, select distinct employee salary order by employee salary descending.
Okay, can you repeat again?
Okay. Select select minimum employee salary in brackets employee salary from, then brackets, select distinct employee salary order by employee designation descending, or employee salary descending. I mean DESC, and then bracket close.
Okay. Now I will share this query with you. You try and execute it and tell me if you get the answer. Okay.
Yes, sir.
A simple way could be select maximum salary from employees where salary not in, and in bracket you will have a subquery that select maximum salary from employee.
Okay, yes, sir.
Right? So subquery will find out the maximum salary, but we are using not in clause. So it will exclude that maximum salary and it will find second maximum salary. That way you can get second highest salary. Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. That's all from my side, Shruti. A little feedback. You are good with manual. I would give you 4 out of 5. In API, you need to read a little.
Yes, sir.
3 out of 5 I would give. And in DB also, you need to prepare a little. So 3 out of 5.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.